the speedway at Indianapolis. A cold, leaden sky hangs over the track. 33 of the fastest cars and drivers in the world line up along the pit wall, waiting for the signal which will send them out to the starting line for the 500-mile classic.
And we got very sideways, one of the NAFRA cars. That is the 36 car that was in third place when came across the line last time. But the race as well is Nick Tandy, 1:04.266 for Nick Tandy, as for the first time in this race. He properly gets the lead of the race, and in third place, Daniel Sylvester looked wide through Radical then. And briefly dipped his wheels into the gravel, but Rob got away with it.
Fire in the hole. Whoa.
Every f***ing time they keep backing off over the line to try and maybe overtake them.
Just a couple of stallions. Battered stallions.
A couple of times there was a car tried to overtake the inside of clearways, for example. Got themselves wildly out of shape and just dumped somebody else in the gravel completely. Exactly. Yeah, which is, you know.
And the first one to really test that out and successfully make it work was Sylvester in that IP Racing 36 car. Which
Jake, what's happening?
They want us to take the cylinder heads off.
Oh, no, they don't. In some proper race cars this time, look. Look at these. Barely recognisable, are they? Well, chaps, welcome to another EnduroKA. It's probably going to be my last race of 2022. Yeah, that's the year. So this is actually the same car we've been racing all year. It's had a bit of a tart up, yeah, a bit of lipstick. And they've got another car as well, which has been rebuilt from one that Scott flipped. It never happened, there's no proof, no evidence. Was it last year that happened, I take it? It must have been last year. Yeah, so Scott rolled a KA. It never happened, yeah? So I ain't got time to do an intro because we're still flat out prepping the cars. We're qualifying in just an hour or so. Car didn't pass scrutiny and it's got to go back for a multitude of problems. We've got Dark Side Jake here helping out, but you'll notice the rest of the Dark Side team aren't here.
No, you've just got me.
Just got the skeleton staff.
Skeleton staff.
Quickest and bestest. Just bestest, yeah. So two cars.
Screw you, Paul.
Huh?
Did you got that on video? Screw you, Paul.
Yeah. No Paul, no Matisse. Really skeleton staff, but we're running two cars, so we've got less staff and we're going to run two cars. That's the plan. Yeah. So IP Racing again. We've got a 63 car, which is a completely fresh build. Apparently faster than this one, but we're not in that one. We're in 36, the classic. Yeah. There's me, Scott, and Adam in this one, and then in the other car we've got Ollie, Mark, who we've raced with before. We're just putting the stickers on at the front there, and Jason, right? Justin. Close enough. Just in time. Anyway, let's get the car prepped.
Not right with car, we're like, no, fuck off, it's fine.
We're all briefing up, so we're qualifying about an hour or something, and there's some heavy work going on down here.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm changing the cataclysmic converter.
Cataclysmic, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Looks like 63 is alright. So like I say, this is a fresh build for today. It's been tested, but yeah, minty fresh. But pretty much exactly the same as this one. Well, they're all the same, aren't they? It's production class builds and all that, isn't it? To me.
Hang on. You've got to like, you get the right angle.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. Yeah, you've got it. Hang on, come down a bit. Oh wait, that's it, mate. Yeah, she's on. Where's nuts? I've got them. How long until qualifying?
How long, Mark? What time is it?
Not long.
10 minutes?
Right, we're a little bit late, but just about to get going. Scott's going out first. We've got pedal rear and front cam, just for quali though. In the race, it'll just be the front and rear cams, I think. Bit of a last minute rush, bit of a stress. Go on, Scott, stop faffing. That is blowing.
Send it on through.
Who are you going to send it on track?
No.
No?
I'm leaving sending for you.
Let's have a look at your silly visor. Yeah, right. Right, Maverick. 103 dead, yeah?
I'll give it a go.
Good luck.
Thank you, cheers mate.
Right, we're going to try and get a video of all these thoroughbred racing machines coming down the pit lane, yeah? Look at them, raring to race. There's actually another Napa team here in the garage next door. I don't know the logistics. I think we're just going to go with flow, but Adam sorted some dodgy deal out by the sound of it. But they're all going out, look. 49 KAs in this one. So it's getting pretty dark. All the cars have been told they've got to have lights on. Purple sector. Purple sector, what's that? Paul de Resta. Oh, Nemesis. One that took the win twice, both of the times I've been racing. Subaru. A few cars I recognise, but there's definitely a lot of new cars here. Or certainly cars I've not seen before. Apparently this is everyone's favourite event. Now there's a car I recognise. They were pretty strong at Alton. They were very strong at Anglesey, if I remember rightly. There's 63, look. And there's 36 right at the back. I reckon the leaders are the first cars out, probably going to be coming round before these even get out. What do you think? There she is, look. Oh yeah, look, cars coming round already, so yeah, there was definitely a bit of an advantage to be at the front, but it is a 1 hour. It is a 1 hour session, this. So hopefully plenty of time for us all to get out and get used to the car. Lovely scenery as well. It looks a bit brighter on the phone screen. It's more like, oh, not that bad, but yeah, it's a bit dark. So Scott went out and did his qualifying laps and then handed the car over to me. Now conveniently the camera didn't work for Scott in any of his driving, not on this day, not the next day. No evidence of Scott driving this car exists anywhere on my cameras. How strange is that? How weird is that? I know. Now thanks to Ollie for realising the camera wasn't going, he got it going again. And yeah, I've driven this KA before, I've driven Brands Hatch before, but never the two at the same time. So let's go and see what it's like.
Right, it's filming.
It's on? Yeah?
Yep.
What's up with the tyres?
You're too low. Pressures are too low. Right, that's over your hands. Are you right?
Yeah, yeah.
Turn the ignition on then.
Radio check. So I wasn't really feeling great about my driving. So the main point is I wasn't hitting the lap time target. I was a good half a second up to a second off. I couldn't quite dip into the 103s, and mid 103 was always going to be the target. But the car that was behind me was 734 Ferguson Motorsport. They were fast. They were really fast. You'll see tomorrow just how fast they were. So what I should have done really is pulled over, let them through and try to copy them. But yeah, I didn't do that. There was a lot of traffic to get through as well. And just trying to get a good feel for the car around here. I mean, it's Brands Hatch. I've probably done 200 laps of Brands Hatch now, so I know roughly where it goes. Judging by this car behind, we can brake a lot later into here. Traffic's becoming a bit of a problem. Sensors. The main corner I was struggling with was Druids, which is this sort of
180-degree kind of hairpin back onto yourself, back down the hill. So I decided to let the fast car through, and I thought I'd try and follow him, but there was another bunch of slow cars in front, so what I decided to do is try and give myself a bit of a gap and then just go for it and see what I could actually do. I went full Alonso around turn 1, or maybe the Jimmy Broadbent steering technique. I think that's the only time I did that. I don't know why I did that there, but...
Right, turning super late here. Faster, 10th up.
Hey, it seemed to work, because this was my fastest lap. It gets a bit scruffy towards the end when we catch these back markers, but yeah, I was pretty happy with it. But it was only just a 103. We really needed to be like mid 103s, but we weren't. We were high 103s, and yeah, I wasn't feeling too clever, so I decided to box and then let Adam go out and have a go. Oh, there was this one moment into Druids as well, which I managed to lock up the front brake, which is really rare. Normally only lock up the rear, but yeah, I did for a minute think I was going into the barrier here, so that wasn't much fun, but managed to get away with it.
Oh. Let's let up a little bit. Is Adam ready to go? Oh well, see if Adam can do any better.
Imagine, yeah, and yeah, out comes the safety car board. So we do go safety car for this one to extract the number 88 car out of the gravel. Now that's the car that has got 6 drivers in it.
Right, weren't very happy with me driving then, so decided to box. But just as I boxed, there's a safety car gone out. Yeah, I was really struggling to drive the car. It didn't feel like the car I drove at Alton, but I think the tracking didn't feel right. The steering felt a little bit off, but I don't know if it was just that. But yeah, something just didn't feel right. I don't know. I just couldn't get in a mojo with it. Normally I can get in quite a good feel with the car, but no, didn't experience that this time. But there's still half an hour left of the session, so I might get another go at the end if there's time. See what Scott says. I don't know what my best time was then. Where are we on the 103.9? I'm pretty sure that was my time, but still only good enough for 8th. I did 103.9, by the way. I did beat you.
What did you do?
103.9. Oh, maybe we were the same then. But it's not good enough anyway. Good luck, Adam.
So due to the safety car being out, Adam, who's a veteran racing driver, has been racing a long time, pulled a very sneaky move here. He decided he was going to sit at the end of the pit lane and just wait for the safety car to end and for there to be a nice big gap for him to get out in.
Hey mate, no problem. Well, we're just waiting for a gap.
Very, very sneaky.
Stopped is one of Lawrence Davey racing cars. I think it's the number 19 car, LDR Performance, of Lee Pearce, Clark Wells and Matt Arnold. So that's another car that's full of Mini Challenge racers. They've been racing in the Mini Challenge Trophy class this year.
It's like he's trying to...
And also, that is the MSVT car that is having a very strange incident. It keeps going back. What's going on there? So that is the number 6 car of Will Mason, Mark Rusted and Hannah Chapman. And whilst I don't know which driver's behind the wheel until I look at the screen, Mark Rusted has got a fair chunk of racing experience, so has Hannah Chapman. Will Marsden has got very little. And it's Hannah Chapman that had the problem. Axiometrics are no longer on the outside of the front row of the grid, though, because the number 36 car has just gone second quickest in this session. So a good lap time having been put in by Daniel Sylvester. So we saw Scott Parkin out in that car at the beginning of the session. That car is back in the hands of Daniel Sylvester. So I now think we'll see out into that car for the final part of the session your friend that you were talking to earlier on at the end of Turismo X, Adam Blair, will be heading out in that car.
Okay. It's clear for everyone to see, and you can ask any driver. No one wants to talk about it, but I think this is probably the opportune time to out it, because it's not really winning a championship if you've got 100 horsepower more than your competitors. So there you go.
I can't add any more than that, so I'll leave that as your final word. So thank you for that to Adam Blair.
Well, Danny, do you want to go out now and then try and give me like 3-4 laps at the end?
So with this being a 1 hour qualifying session and us being free drivers, we had plenty of time to try and climatise ourselves. Adam and Scott were feeling fine. I was feeling a bit nervous. I wasn't happy with my performance in the first stint, so I went out for a couple more laps in the car, and yeah, this really helped with my confidence, because I think if I didn't drive the car again and I went to bed that night after the first session, I wouldn't be feeling too confident about starting the race the next day. So I managed to get my lap time down. Remember, the target was a 103.5, and yeah, I couldn't have got much closer to it. Well, no, I guess if we're talking science, I couldn't have got actually close. Yeah, I hit the target. That's what I'm saying. I hit the target. So yeah, I was feeling good after that.
I'm in bad traffic. I'm going to pit box this lap. Box in, box in.
Hey, radiators.
It's like a bagging, like gearbox engine mount or something like that.
Sure it's not exhaust?
Maybe exhaust.
We haven't got time to check now, have we?
No, it's fine, fine.
Roger.
It's really got dark now. Camera's doing a good job of hiding the fact, but spicy. This man's got Type R Honda on his race suit, look.
Take the checkered flag to do that, which I think they've done now, so let's just have a quick look. It's Octane Junkies that will start from pole position tomorrow. IP Racing will line up alongside them, and row 2 of the grid will be turn 7 and Napa Racing UK. The third row of the grid is the first of the Fergan Motorsport cars alongside Axiometrics.
So out of the nearly 50 cars that were in the event, we qualified second, just a 10th away. You know, so close yet so far. Adam was the fastest driver by a good chunk.
Where is he? So we qualified second. I don't think Adam improved at the end. Where's the car though? Where's the car?
But that's it from this video, so thanks for watching. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to see the race. Nah, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, you've got another 2 hours yet.
In 2 miles, continue on to the M25 towards the M11.
Come on, London. Got this tunnel going under the Thames. We're going 20 mile an hour. Thanks for holding the camera, passenger. Yeah, no worries, mate. Right, I forgot to say that qualifying went quite well. We're P2 and P7. 36, the car that I'm driving, is P2. I was a little bit off pace, but not too bad. Only 2/10 off the top. So I think I'm losing all the time at Druids. I think it's Druids where I'm losing all the time, but I'll see you in the morning for the race. Alright.
In 5.3 miles, exit onto junction 11 to M25.
Morning. Alright. Cheers, buddy. Nice day for it. Nice day for it. Man, I was wet then. Look at that. Oof. Yeah, I got a little bit wet. But I'm here with my 3 stripes. Look at that. Team sad. Yeah, it's getting dark innit, so it's Team sad. Yeah. Why are you talking quiet? I can't hear you. Right, we're about to start the day's racing. Cars are actually assembled in the assembly area on time.
Early? Not on time.
Early, even. So I'm starting first. We've just found out the regulations are different than what we thought. We can't drive longer than 2 hours 20 each, which makes the race a 3-stop race regardless. We're going to try and 2-stop it. It was going to be a squeeze to 2-stop it, but won't be able to anyway. We'd get disqualified. So yeah, we'll be 3-stopping anyway. So be me out in the car, then Scott, then me again, and then Adam will be doing his last stint. We'll try and make Adam's stint obviously as long as we can, but yeah, it's going to be good day's racing, I think. As you can see, the track, it's not raining anymore, but it's going to be greasy for a little bit at the start, but we've put pretty much a dry setup on, pretty much. Fronts are a dry pressure. The rears could do being a bit higher maybe for the dry, but I think it'll be all right for the first stint. And because we're committing to a 3-stop now, it's still, 8 hours and 20, still a 500-minute race, but because we're committing to a 3-stop, it gives a bit more flexibility. So yeah, let's get in the car and go.
Right, here we go then, time to get the race underway. So this is a 500-minute race at Brands Hatch. That's 8 hours and 20. It's a long race, it's a long old race. Obviously I'm starting, we're in P2. A lot of cars out on circuit.
So Octane Junkies and Adam Smith starts from pole position with alongside it's IP Racing and Daniel Sylvester.
So it's a rolling start, something that I'm not too good at, and you'll see there's not sure what goes on here. You make your own judgments at the start, but I didn't feel like I missed it by that much, but by turn 1, miles away. So the KA race is a rolling start. Remember, we're in 2nd position. So the red car to my right, I need to try and be as close to him as possible, alongside but not passing, all the way to the start finish line. Same with the cars behind. No one can overtake anyone until the start finish line. So my job is just to be as close to him as possible. When he goes, don't miss it.
Alongside is IP Racing and Daniel Sylvester. As the lights go out, away they go. It doesn't look like it's a bad start from Callum McDougall at the wheel of the turn 7 car. He's even swap through into 2nd place as they get towards Paddock Hill Bend. Well, he's trying to, but Daniel Sylvester's got other ideas. He's trying to brave it out around the outside as they leave the corner. But everybody, I think, treading somewhat gingerly through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. It looks as though for the moment, whilst the tail end of the field is still only at the top of Paddock Hill Bend, everybody has made it through the first corner.
So I was immediately under pressure by the 3rd place car, turn 7. and yeah, they weren't letting up at all. So we put a dry setup on the car because the circuit didn't look too bad, but I tell you what, it was really greasy. I didn't have a lot of grip at all out there. It was yeah, it was spicy.
So they sit there in second place. It is the number 36 car of IP Racing that are there in third place at the moment, Daniel Sylvester, and fourth at the moment is 736 Ferguson Racing, and that's Lee Deegan, who is there in fourth place. Nick Tandy, Porsche factory driver, completes top 5 at the moment, and Axiometrics number 18, Chris Wetherill, is there in sixth.
So I was sat in third for quite a long time at the start. Everyone was just kind of finding their feet, but the first 2 cars kind of began to get away a little bit, and I wouldn't say I was driving my best. I was definitely under a lot of pressure from the drivers behind, and also pressuring myself a little bit, seeing the cars in front get away. But tried to get the blinkers on, tried to just keep my head down and keep going. But yeah, it was starting to get really tough to match the pace of the cars around me.
So a front-wheel drive car, you put your foot flat to the floor to pull it out the skid. You've only got 80 power strokes to start with, 90 power strokes, so it's not easy once they get sideways to power them out because you're already using all of that in the first place. But look at the lead advantage that Octane junkies have. They really have opened up the gap between themselves and the chasing pack that sit behind. Best of the squabbles at the moment is probably for third position. IP Racing and Daniel Sylvester coming under pressure from Lee Deegan as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Just behind them also we've got Nick Tandy is coming under the cosh as well, is he not?
Yes.
We've got our first one into the gravel, I'm afraid, and it's number 44 that's gone off, and that is the Graves Motorsport car.
So the most difficult corner by far was the last corner, Clearways. I think there might have been a stream running from the grass or something like that after the rainfall, because no matter which line you took, the car always got upset kind of midway through the corner. It made for some really exciting dashes down the start-finish straight, and positions 3, 4, 5 and 6, that's the 2 Napa cars and the 2 Ferguson cars. We were neck and neck. You might recognise the blue car sitting in 5th position. That's the super fast one that we met in qualifying yesterday.
It's got 3 of cars with a similar livery to those, the Napa cars, and 2 of them are sort of surrounding a pair of cars that are having a great fight amongst themselves. You see him plunge down the hill from Paddock Hill Bend, and Tandy War, and I thought he was having a sneaky snifter towards the inside, but he's actually switched it towards the outside, and he's now the one that's going to try and go around the outside of Joe Ferguson. Thinks better of it, tries to make sure he maintains that momentum all the way through Druids. But look at this quartet of cars, absolutely thoroughly amazing entertainment. Nick Tandy, 24-hour Le Mans, 24-hour Spa, 24-hour Nürburgring, 24 hours of Daytona, and 3 times winner of 12 hours of Sebring as well. Sorry, I only saw this out the window. Joe Ferguson has just suddenly got past 1, 2, and we got very sideways one of the Napa cars.
So yeah, this was pretty interesting. I managed to drop from 3rd to 6th in just a couple of corners, but I think we all did it in the most exciting way possible, so all good.
Joe Ferguson has just suddenly got past 1, 2, and we got very sideways one of the Napa cars. That is the 36 car that was in 3rd place when came across the line last time. That's a good couple of places down, and but has managed to get that somehow, get the speed back up again in the car. Well,
that's Nick Tandy that's gone back through and ahead, and so Daniel Sylvester's dropped to the tail end of that little field Nick Tandy picks them off, and that means then that it's now Nick Tandy from Lee Deegan from Daniel Sylvester, who had that squirrely and slidey moment. All of this is playing beautifully into the hands of both Adam Smith, who leads the way for Octane Junkies.
tracks. Oh, and there's several spinning off at the end of the Cooper Straight. That's interesting. Maybe just some avoiding action. And that's the second place car that's on the grass, isn't it, Mark?
I thought it was. I thought it looked like Callum McDougall that had the problem and skidded himself across the grass. So he is now in the process of recovering. So that shuffled the order.
Yeah, there's been a crash by the look.
So that incident brought out the racer's first safety car. Now we've covered 15 minutes of this race, which is how long one of my MR2 races lasts. But it's only 3% of this event, so yeah, all that action and we're only 3% of the way through.
So we're about to get racing back underway. So it's Octane Junkies that lead the way at this stage. There's a few back marker cars between themselves and number 128, which is Napa Racing's Nick Tandy. Third at the moment is still 734, the black car from Ferguson Motorsport of Joe Ferguson, and then it's the sister car to it, number 736 Lee Deegan, that is fourth. Fifth is IP Racing, the second of the Napa liveried cars. That is Daniel Sylvester. And Callum McDougall, despite the spin, the number 14 car from turn 7 is currently 6th quickest at this stage, still continuing his fight back following that off. I was just saying that the best fight to watch at the moment is Lee Deegan, Daniel Sylvester and Callum McDougall as they all busy squabble away over what will be 4th, 5th and 6th position. Just ahead of them is the Nick Tandy and Joe Ferguson battle that you were talking about. So
736 guys a bit fucking dicey.
So I was really starting to feel the pressure now, both from behind with car 14, but also trying my hardest to keep up with 736 in front. The next few laps were pretty good racing. I'm not going to show it all because this video is way too long already. So still the most difficult part of the course was the last corner clearways. I kept trying to take different lines and find a faster way through, but it took a good hour of racing for the corner to become attackable, let's say. So there was an example of me doing okay on the last corner, but here's an example of me doing not so good. A couple of laps later, the turn 7 car goes very wide and finds the traction, and just look at the run that he gets on me down the start-finish straight.
Fucking hell, has he done that? Turn 7 guy just smashed me out last corner.
This stage, and that's a good little fight actually. The pink car is Lee Deegan, there is Daniel Sylvester, and Daniel Sylvester is also coming under pressure now from the number 14 car of Callum McDougall for turn 7. Remember, that's the car that had the spin earlier on. Callum McDougall draws himself alongside. I think he's going to get in front of Daniel Sylvester by the time they get towards Paddock Hill Bend. Can he make it through? He's just got his nose ahead. Daniel Sylvester breaks that little bit later at the wheel of the number 36 Napa backed car and hangs on to the place for the moment. So
no, I just like drove better than me, I mean.
So this battle between myself, 736 and 14 went on for a good few laps, and we're about half an hour into the race now. Well, 6% into the race now.
And Callum McDougall gets very sideways.
I'm going to skip forward a couple of laps. With the back markers, we're having to take different lines around corners, and that was introducing new challenges. You know, trying to overtake on the rubbered in sections was, yeah, crazy. And each time around the last corner, the turn 7 car was getting such a run on the outside. I didn't realise what he was doing because I was too busy focusing on what I was doing. It seems obvious on reflection, right? Go on the outside when it's wet, but I don't know how he was doing it because it was super slippy to get there. Sorry, I gotta make a break here because YouTube keeps claiming me on this part of the video because I think it sounds like this French Christian rock kind of music. It keeps getting claimed. Don't know why. Apparently this engine sound of these KAs going down the main straight at Brands Hatch sounds like this. Ridiculous.
Stage, apart from probably Daniel Sylvester, who's there in 5th place, has still got Callum McDougall rooted to his boot lid at the moment as they're about to head downhill and in towards Graham Hill Bend. This is amazing. This is the 25th lap as well that we're on now, so 25 laps completed, and we've now chalked up already what the first half an hour of the race is good as.
Now I started trying to do more of a dry line through the last corner and then washing out to the end, but it was getting really sketchy because as soon as you put the throttle down, even though it's only got like what 50 foot-pounds of torque or whatever this car, it'll still slide across on those Toyo tyres straight to the gravel. So yeah, it was sketchy. I never did actually try running straight around the outside. Maybe I should have done that.
Phil just washed out right at the end, but better I think.
Nice. Got to swallow, I'm afraid. Looking at what's going on the road in towards Druids, though, lots of defensive work being done there. That was Lee Deegan, I think, that was trying to close the door on the fast approaching number 36 Daniel Sylvester and Callum McDougall cars.
It was one move, so he was okay.
It was certainly tight.
He's been passed now, though, because down into Graham Hill Bend. Yeah. What a late lunge there from the 36 car, and he just dived up the inside and he got it done anyway. So that defensive move from Deegan heading up the hill that was in vain in the end, sadly.
Did they get a flag at Graham Hill Bend?
I didn't catch whether that was deployed at the point of that overtake or not. I think that it came out just after that move.
So this is where I started to get a bit nervous. Did I just overtake someone under a yellow flag? They did make it a little bit easy for me to go around. They hesitated overtaking the car. Now, was that because they were worried about the yellow flag, or is that because they were worried about what the back marker might do? But there definitely was a yellow flag. There was an incident on track, and that led to a safety car. So will the team now be getting a penalty because I pulled a Ryan Parkin and overtook someone on the yellow flags? Or were the yellow flags after I overtook?
He says with blind optimism.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Again, the difficult thing is that if as a driver you are already committed to it at the point that the flags come out, there's then nothing you can do. No. You've already committed that you're going to brake that late, and you're not
especially
looking
down the hill to Graham
down
Hill.
the hill.
Yeah.
The marshal's post is off to the right hand side, so it's in your peripheral vision. So, and it's not looking for an excuse, because I genuinely don't know whether it's before or afterwards. But it's not easy. There's lots of things, and sometimes as a driver, you just got to hold your hand up and say, "I didn't see it. I didn't see it," or "I was already committed. There was nothing I could do."
I do think
it's
he
not
was
a defense.
okay
It's not a
anyway.
defense, but it's a reality.
I do think that it was literally just after that move had happened, as he got onto the Cooper Straight, then the flag started coming out around the circuit. The safety car waited to pick up the leader. That's going to be an awful task, isn't it?
What we need is a long.
Yeah, I saw the one after it, but the one that I was at didn't have a yellow flag on it.
So fortunately there was no action taken. So did we get away with it, or did I just not break the rule? I don't know. Either way, no action was taken. All good.
driver of the car in front, Nick Tandy. Some of you might know that name. Got double wave yellow.
Say Amat is the team MSVT racing car, so that's Hannah Chapman, the mini challenge racer that's gone on off and into the gravel track there. So
that's very early at Paddock Hill as well, isn't it?
Very early at Paddock Hill then.
So that's us just under 45 minutes into the race, not even 10%. I'll stop the percent soon, but yeah, you get a good view of all the cars here. Look, nearly 50 on the grid, 50 cars on Brands Indy, the shortest track. Yeah, it was always going to be pretty chaotic, eh? But it's about to get a bit worse, so let's have a safety car restart. So we're currently in P4.
Right, safety car lights are indeed off, and it is heading in to here.
Yeah, so safety car will be in at the end of this lap, which means that it's up to Joe Ferguson as to when he wants to get going again. So Joe Ferguson looks to try and pull away immediately, but of course everybody else is sticking right with him, including Octane Junkies Adam Smith, Nick Tandy for Napa Racing, Daniel Sylvester for IP at the wheel of the second of the Napa-backed cars, Lee Deegan, Callum McDougall, Andrew Rogerson in the black and the Dayglow yellow car, all together as they come over the start-finish line. Lee Deegan has got lights on, main beam, headlamps on, big spotlights on as well, as he looks to try and do anything to put off the cars ahead of him. But it's Joe Ferguson that leads the way. It's been a brilliant stint, I would say, from Joe Ferguson, because he rather quickly picked his way towards the front. He's now picked up the lead of the race, but he did come from 14th on the grid. We've got to remember that.
He's had to go defensive up towards the hairpin there, though, hasn't he? And not just from the car behind him. It's like it was almost the fanfare as they went up the hill, because we've got the whole gaggle behind the pair of Napa racing cars. There's no team orders there, is there? Goodness me. The pair of Napa racing cars, there's no team orders there, is there? Goodness me. But Nick Tandy just about holds off his teammate Sylvester. But yeah, there was no team orders there, was there?
No, that was Nick Tandy going up the inside of Daniel Sylvester. Now Daniel Sylvester is being unpicked by Lee Deegan, who's trying to sneak up the inside as they head round through Surtees and up towards McLaren. But it's still Joe Ferguson that leads, from Octane Junkies Adam Smith in second place, Nick Tandy charging away in third place. Daniel Sylvester only lost the one place to his teammate because he's still got Lee Deegan behind him. Lee Deegan has then got the turn 7 number 14 car of Callum McDougall. Are we going to see Lee Deegan try and pull a move on Daniel Sylvester? Tries on the way into Paddock Hill Bend. Has he got the momentum on the way out? As Adam Smith now also looks to try and take the lead of the race away from Joe Ferguson. Jinx out from behind. He's going to have to try the wide line round through Druids, whilst also defending from Nick Tandy, who's going to try and draw himself alongside the second place car.
It's interesting, the safety cars, Mark, have not just sandwiched them back together again if there's been a margin, but the cars have changed. We've got a challenge coming in for the lead from Smith.
I might have him this time. Maybe not. Not if we're hitting the curves.
We've also also got Daniel Sylvester, has got Callum McDougall trying to dive up the inside of him, and the two of those are side by side for what will be 4th and 5th position round through Druid. So we've had the shuffle for the lead, we've also had the shuffle for the 4th and 5th place as Callum McDougall goes through and ahead of Daniel Sylvester. Slight tap on the rear there just to unsettle the turn 7, and now Joe Ferguson finds himself under pressure from Nick Tandy. We've also got Daniel Sylvester, has got Callum McDougall trying to dive up the inside of him, and the two of those are side by side for what will be 4th and 5th position round through Druid. So we've had the shuffle for the lead, we've also had the shuffle for the 4th and 5th place as Callum McDougall goes through and ahead of Daniel Sylvester. Slight tap on the rear there just to unsettle the turn 7 car, but Callum McDougall gathers it up and he hangs on to 4th.
When you consider is that, okay, as far as the timing was concerned, is Sylvester was 4th behind Tandy, but we know that he got ahead of Tandy before Tandy got him back again, and but he's now suddenly sat there, what is he, back at the back of that gaggle, isn't he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
He's in 5th, but he's also got Lee Deegan right behind him, and Lee Deegan has got Andrew Rogerson in the black and Dayglow yellow car, not far off that.
Well, we had a new fastest lap of the race for Deegan, the 736, that was sat sort of towards the rear of that big gaggle in 6th position, but the fastest lap of the race means it means business. He's glued to the back of the 36 Sylvester.
So this is when things start to get really hairy. I think I've seen a gap, but make a slight miscalculation.
Somebody's gone off into the gravel, and it is the number 14 car, and that was all because there was a very slow car that they were trying to get past. They all suddenly split either which way. Look, that's some serious frustration there from the 14 that was sat in 4th place, McDougall, and he now knows not only is he losing all this time now, but Callum has to wait for to be taken out and given 3-lap penalty.
So this was without a doubt my fault. I didn't even see the V-Box car until everyone moved to the left. So what I thought was happening was that turn 7 were hesitating because of the car on the right hand side, which I think they were, ever so slightly, they were hesitating. So I went for the gap through, but then, yeah, there was no grip where I was going, so yeah, I just lost control of the car and unfortunately collected them. Now what made things worse was apparently this was under yellow flag, or it was recorded as being under yellow flag, but I've watched this back a few times and I can't see a yellow flag anywhere.
After lap, and when you've got 46 cars out there circulating, it'll take quite some time to dry the circuit. We've got contact, and spinning up at Druids is the number 56 car that was pointing in the wrong direction. That's Hard and Enthusiastic. Brilliant squabble for 2nd and 3rd position. Adam Smith applying all of the pressure to, for what will be 3rd and 4th position. Adam Smith applying all of the pressure to Daniel Sylvester, unlocks the door to the right hand side and is able to sneak his way through as rejoining the tarmac goes Carmelian on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. That number 39 car already having had a spin just a few moments earlier, but now brilliant battle going on between what is Adam Smith and Daniel Sylvester for what is 2nd and 3rd position at this stage. What have you got there?
Just that fight still going on, and it looks like Deegan's diving up the inside. We do have a car off on the exit of Graham Hill Bend.
So this is quite an interesting move.
considering what happened about 10 minutes ago. I'll just let you watch it. Maybe this is the move that Tandy was talking about in his interview that I used in the intro. Maybe. Bit of a yikes when I'm watching it back, but I guess it made sense at the time. I mean, this car was never the kindest to me with its moves either, so, you know, I'm not going to lose any sleep.
To Tandy on that last lap to lose 3 places and drop to the bottom, the back of this gaggle.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how he's lost all of those places. And then Lee Deegan has a very slow run coming around through Clearway's corner.
Yeah.
Daniel Sylvester goes through. Nick Tandy goes through as well. So did Lee Deegan maybe pass under yellows and was recorrecting it or something like that? Was he? But all of a sudden, yeah, to gain a few places and then hand them all back again.
Very easily, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he maybe realised he gained an advantage when he shouldn't have, and therefore, if that's the case, very quickly gave them back to try and avoid a penalty.
Fair enough. It's, as you said, it's very difficult that you suddenly get caught blindsided for the flags, especially with this sun that obviously it's a winter sun, so it never gets fully high. Oh, and is that our race leader that just got very crossed up coming through Graham Hill Bend? It is. He's okay. He's kept it on the straight and narrow, but as he tried to come up behind a back marker, then he got absolutely crossed up through Graham Hill Bend. And the gaggle behind him, this is including the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place cars trying to pick through others.
Yeah, well, that was 3 wide again there. We haven't quite got to the 4 wide that we were after, or the 5 wide that I was after. So that is Adam Smith, who is working terribly hard for octane.
I just got some water off of someone, so I can see now. This car's starting to come alive now. We're about an hour and a quarter into the race now, and there's starting to be a dry line appearing. You can even hear some tyre squeal, especially through paddock. One thing that was becoming quite a big issue was the car didn't have any water in its windscreen washers, or maybe they were just removed or something, but yeah, I couldn't clean the screen unless I had someone in front of me giving some spray. So it was becoming really difficult to see, especially in the sun. A few laps later I had my teammate Justin in my ear asking for some tips for the last corner clearways. I thought I had it figured out, but as you'll see, I was still struggling. I just messed it up, so can't help, sorry. So in a good battle for second place now. Kept trying to take some different lines through the last corner to see if I could get an advantage, but no, but nothing ventured, nothing gained.
The whole 3 of them together there as they come down towards Graham Hill Bend in the middle of a whole pack of back markers, and it means that Tandy's now on the back of his teammate. The number 36 car is directly ahead of him of Sylvester, and directly ahead of them, of course, is Smith in the 111 car.
So you just see how busy it is round through Surtees and McLaren. Adam Smith trying to pick his way through the traffic. Daniel Sylvester in 3rd place trying to do the same. Then the number 128 Napa car in the hands of Nick Tandy, the fastest man out there at the moment. He's trying to thread the needle through the traffic as well. The traffic wants to try and keep going as quickly as it possibly can. And in fact, for Wingard Racing, who've already been into the pit lane and had a few problems, they are matching Adam Smith for pace actually, and are definitely not making it easy. The pair of them were side by side over the start-finish line. They'll still be side by side as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend, but the door is open for Wingard Racing. They're going to have to yield here and let some of the quicker cars through, but it all gets a little bit tight, doesn't it, at Paddock Hill Bend? And with 3 wide on the way out, we might be 4 wide by the time we get up to Druids.
Oh, I think we did just about hit it there at that point as well. 4 wide. Oh,
4 wide by the time we get up to Druids.
Oh, I think we did just about hit it there at that point as well. 4 wide. Oh, and there's nearly a bit of contact between the second and third place cars. The red, white and black Adam Smith 111 Octane Junkies came across to the apex of Druids no matter what, and I thought for a second as that Sylvester in the blue and yellow 36 car was going to leave his nose up the inside.
We're well into the second half of my first stint now. We're still sitting in third position. We've got Nick Tandy in the other Napa car behind me. Number 63 is a few places behind in about 15th. In front we've got the Ferguson car and the Octane Junkies car. And we're just working his way through traffic. Trying to keep our noses clean, not get into any trouble. We're still less than 3 seconds off the lead, so it's not a million miles away. But yeah, just keeping the head down, trying to keep going, trying not to get into any trouble.
Really does make a difference. But yes, I was just watching that the Wingard Racing was at last passed by Sylvester in the 36 IP Racing car, and that means that he's going to now try and set about closing back in on the second place 111 Adam Smith in the Octane Junkies car. Here they come across to complete their 65th lap. The leader, Ferguson, is only just ahead of them now. That's a slow couple of laps he's had where he's trying to pick through. The jet black car he's got 2 back markers between himself and the second place Adam Smith, but it's not comfortable for him anymore. In fact, look at that, Adam Smith diving up the inside of a back marker. He's not bothered about track limits there, is he? He's up the inside, just tagged the back marker there because he's trying desperately. You can see that he's closing in on Ferguson, the jet black car there, 734, that now sweeps around the outside of one of the back markers. Smith definitely managed to cut through, but he was trying to make it even quicker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been very decisive with his run through those back markers there. The car with the number plate still hanging down is Daniel Sylvester, who still sits there in third position for IP Racing. We've seen IP Racing
spin behind them. Sorry, Mark. I thought that was about to go straight through him. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's all right. I'm looking at the stream, not looking out the windows. So we've got squeal of tyres there, and we have got somebody into the gravel trap.
Picking up on the comment you made there is Tandy's all over the back of Sylvester there. 128 and 36. Nick Tandy looking at the inside. Is that you mentioned about radio to pits? Is that these?
Managed to close the gap and get a good run on the second place car here, but something very strange happens. He just seems to gain loads of speed out of nowhere, like he's pressed the NOS button or something.
But still, we've got this great fight. And in fact, Smith just came through Graham Hill Bend rather steady there, and he's now about to be mugged by certainly Sylvester in the 36 car, but the back marker ahead of them's just sort of changing how this was going to go. Involved in some kind of banter there as well. But still, we've got this great fight. And in fact, Smith just came through Graham Hill Bend rather steady there, and he's now about to be mugged by certainly Sylvester in the 36 car, but the back marker ahead of them's just...
That wasn't very Christmassy.
They can't get past this back marker. I think that's the number 6 car just ahead of them. Tandy's now going to take advantage of the 36 being compromised, and all of them do dive up the inside of the back marker this time round, but it leaves actually the 36 and 128 cars third and fourth in this race at the moment. They're the ones that are sat by side, and Smith's got away with that in the end.
Yeah, brilliant little battle, isn't it? So they picked off Hannah Chapman, who was of course in the gravel trap. Position at Paddock Hill Bend. Nick Tandy squeezes with the inside of Daniel Sylvester. He's going to make it through, surely. Yes, he does, as they go up towards Paddock Hill Bend.
A few laps later, Tandy takes off in the other Napa car, but I carry on battling with Octane Junkies, number 111. Remember, this is the car that qualified on pole position.
Yeah, so that's Adam Smith that's off, and is rally crossing his way back onto the tarmac. That was a clear-ways corner, just about got away with that. That was the car that was running in second position,
Wow.
so rather got away with that.
So we're about an hour and a half into my stint now, and I've finally got some breathing space. I'm sitting in third position. Second place is about 3 seconds up the road, and the fourth place car's about 4 seconds behind me. So these were some really nice relaxing laps compared to what the first hour and a half of the race had been for me. But it wasn't long until there was another safety car bringing us all back together again.
So safety car peels in, and they get the race back underway. Jay Ferguson leading the way. So Chris Dawes has made his way downstairs into the pit area, so he will chip in as and when he's got somebody to chat to, but we get the race back underway in the meantime with Nick Tandy and Daniel Sylvester, the two Napa-backed cars, turning their way through Paddock Hill Bend for the 81st time, and the top three cars after 81 laps of racing, and yes, a few safety cars, still separated by less than a second, the top three cars at this stage. Just about to have another change for the lead, are we here, as Joe Ferguson is feeling the pinch a little bit from Nick Tandy, who's trying to prise the door open as they come over the start-finish line absolutely together. Nick Tandy just has his nose ahead as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's also got the inside line and has just set the fastest lap of the race as well, has Nick Tandy. 1 minute 4.266 for Nick Tandy, as for the first time in this race he probably picks up the lead of the race. And in third place, Daniel Sylvester runs wide through Paddock Hill Bend and briefly dipped his wheels into the gravel, but rather got away with it.
So I get all kind of out of shape here. I don't even know what happened, to be honest. I just kind of lost the car on entry to the corner. Perhaps I was focusing too much on what was going on in front of me, but get really lucky to not actually stick the car in the gravel. It's so close to going all the way into the gravel. Look, the dips the rear left wheel into the gravel. Yeah, wasn't good. And after this incident, my driving really fell off, my pace really fell off. I don't know if I was just being a bit too cautious with the car. I was on the radio blaming the tyres, but in reality I just wasn't driving very good. I think the tyres were just over-pressured, and I was really struggling to keep them in the window. I kept trying to cool them down, go really easy on them, but every time I got to paddock, the sound of them just clinging on for dear life it's not good. I remembered the sound from Anglesey, and in Anglesey I managed to destroy a set of tyres in one stint, and I really didn't want that to happen again.
I had the ghost of one of our teammates from Anglesey, Phil Keane, in the back of my head, telling me to not ruin the tyres. Wouldn't be very sustainable for us to race like that. So I backed off a bit, but backing off a bit soon turned into a lot, and the pack were back with me.
All the time, and now Lee Deegan is in a full attack mode, trying to draw himself alongside the IP Racing number 36 car of Daniel Sylvester. That's not quite going to work on the way in towards Clearways. Can he sneak his way through it up the inside on the way out? No, he hasn't got quite enough momentum. So over the start finish line's got our race leader. There goes the second place car, and now these next four are all in third, fourth, fifth and sixth position as they head up towards the braking area. So through Paddock Hill Bend they all hold station this time through. The car that's in seventh position is car number 154, which is Andrew Rogerson at the wheel of the black and the Dayglow yellow car. He on that lap has just overtaken the silver number 5 car of Luke Reed, who's dropped to 8th position. Burton Power Top Valentine is just about to go over the start finish line now, the number 1 car. He is there in 9th position, but he has got the purple Scepter racing machine right with him as well, which is Sasha Kaka. That's the purple car but with the Dayglow bumpers. So there's a good fight going on also for the final 2 places inside the top 10. So down the Cooper Straight, Lee Deegan looks as though he has made his way through and ahead of Daniel Sylvester. So finally through the traffic he's managed to get past Daniel Sylvester. Daniel Sylvester now coming under attack from Chris Wetherell, also in on the mix as well is going to be the turn 7 car, which Callum McDougall, of course, dropped into the gravel trap earlier on, and has, of course, caused that car to be much further down through the order than otherwise it would have been. That's a car that Callum is still trying to work his way up through the order, so he's as quick, if not quicker, than the cars he's doing battle with, but of course he is out of position relative to them as a result of that 3-lap penalty for the tow back having been in the gravel.
So here we are, nearly 2 hours into the race, and it's the same formation that it was at the start. We've got Ferguson Motorsport 736 in front of us, and turn 7 car number 14 behind us. It's going to be a bit of redemption coming up. Let me know what you think to this. I think I probably should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Yeah, I think he shows me about as much respect as I would show someone who punted me off into the gravel.
Races of more than 6 hours, no driver may drive for more than 60% of the race duration in total as well. So that's not too much of a problem when you've got 4 and 5 drivers to separate it by, but a couple of the cars only have 2 drivers. So in other words, they do then need to make sure they are literally half and half. That's a spin, and that's a spin for the car that was running in 5th position. So Daniel Silvestre at the wheel of the number 36 IP racing car. Bit of a spin for him there, gathers up the moment. You could hear the squeal of tyres up at Druids, but that has now dropped him away from the pack that he had been doing battle with. Black flag for car number 14, so the current driver and the team manager to go to race control. Now car number 14 is turn 7 and Callum McDougall, so quite what that is for I don't know, but there's a story to be told there as to what happened. Callum McDougall, remember, was running right at the front. The car qualified 3rd. It was continuing running at the front until it dropped itself into the gravel trap. It is now running in 34th position and is still as quick as the front runners, but it's not going to be when Callum and the team manager have to present themselves towards race control for whatever reason. The order, and then just off them there's a black car with some day glow flashes to it, and then the silver car, and that's going to be Andrew Rogerson and Luke Reed, who are fighting over the final 2 places inside the top 6, with Daniel Silvestre in what will be 8th place at the moment, trying to recover after his spin up at Druid. So it's still rather tight to say the least, and off goes and into the gravel trap the winner from last year's race. Can he dig his way back out? Darren Stapleton, yes, he has just about enough momentum to crawl the GM Performance car back onto the circuit, but moment for him there, and just that he'd got himself up to what was going to be 3rd position overall in the race. Is car number 128, as yet to pit Napa Racing's Nick Tandy. 2nd in the race is car number 734, which is Joe Ferguson for Ferguson Motorsport. The gap from 1st to 2nd at this stage, with 98 laps now completed, is an ever-extending one.
So things were just getting worse for me, and I ended up over 20 seconds away from the lead as we approached lap 100. But just as that happened, a car rolled over into the gravel at Paddock. Now I was approaching my pit window anyway, so it was good timing. A lot of teams were. Very busy pit stop, but Scott jumped in the car. Now unfortunately the GoPro stopped. I don't know what he's doing to it, but yeah, no footage from Scott's on board, but we'll go back to having some paddock action now.
Towards the 2 IP racing cars, the number 63 car and the 36 that we've seen great work from so far, and also into the pit lane comes 128, so Nick Tandy into the pit lane.
Can we do my top harnesses? And my radio?
I just got out of the car after my stint. Pretty leery stint, weren't expecting as much leeriness, but some highlights before we get onto the bad stuff. I was racing with Patrick Watts then. You know, I used to race the Peugeot in VTCC.
So it turns out I wasn't actually racing against Mr. Watts in that stint, but let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story.
And also Nick Tandy, who was another very serious driver.
I'm also 99% sure Tandy was talking about me when he was mentioning a driver being a bit silly at clearways.
I mean, I saw it a couple of times. There was a car tried to overtake at the inside of clearways, for example, got themselves wildly out of shape and just dumped somebody else in the gravel completely. Exactly. Yeah, which is, you know.
Yeah, not something I'm proud of, but, you know, nice to get called out by the celebrity driver now and again, eh? The professional Porsche Works driver, yeah.
The bad stuff, obviously, I lost control of the car a couple of times. There were a few moments which obviously I'm not quite proud of, especially with turn 7 early on. Stuff like that can happen, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is they're front-wheel drive, so as long as you've got track space, you can always kind of recover a half spin.
Anyway, team manager's been called up, but Scott's been out in the car for about 10 minutes now, so maybe he's done something, I don't know, or maybe they're just calling him up for something that I've done, because I was in the car for about 2 hours then. But yeah, good stint, I think, overall. Basically, I think turn 7 got a bit of revenge on me at Druids, which, you know, is what it is, isn't it? So yeah, I could drop down to P6, but we're still on the lead lap and everything like that, so we're still in the running, and there's still over 6 hours of the race left, so plenty of time. But yeah, I'll be driving again next, so I'm going to keep my gear on, keep my suit on. Scott's out there now. He's going to try and do at least 2.5 hours, really. Would be the ideal stint for him, and then me to jump in and do an hour or so, and then Adam to finish up. But yeah, you might have noticed I was struggling with the front of the car a bit. We did do dry pressures on the front, but when we pitted then, the pressures were way up. They were about 6 and 4 higher than what they should have been. So when I was out on track, would have been even higher than that. So yeah, the front pressures were too high. You could hear the tyres, they just weren't happy about it, and I was losing a lot of front end towards the end of my stint when it started drying up. So dropped it down for Scott. Hopefully he'll have a bit of a better time. But I guess we'll see how he gets on, eh?
Scott had a little moment here. I'm not too sure what's going on. And then when he rejoined the track, you'll see the car spinning out. Now, there's going to be more to that story later on. But for now, Scott is behind the leader, but he's also a lap down.
One of the cars had to take avoiding action with another car spinning ahead of it. Off, and the exit of Druids Corner is the number 36 car. That's Scott Parkin. Very unusual mistake for Scott Parkin. And then spinning in sympathy is Misty Racing.
There's the leaders. I was in third. Nice. Unless we're a lap down. But yeah, the 128 car's still leading. And we're 2 cars behind. A bit of banter for you. Remember me saying that we were a bit low on people today, yeah? Well, turns out we were so low that we didn't know how much fuel that we had. Adam just had to go and collect some fuel and the tyres. So Scott can't pit for another half an hour or so, but hopefully that's enough time for Adam to get to Shell and then get to Polysport.
Forgot that Polysport don't deliver and the fuel doesn't replenish itself.
Yeah, the fuel doesn't replenish itself around here, so we've got about 40 litres there, but obviously that's only really enough for one car. Yeah, and we've got one new tyre.
Nose to tail still for the lead of the race, the leading pair. Remember, the car that is third in that queue, Scott Parkin, is a lap adrift now.
Ah, okay.
So on the road we're neck and neck with the leaders, but unfortunately we somehow ended up a lap down. So either we got really unlucky, some safety car positioning, or someone else got really lucky. But yeah, the bottom line is, maybe both of those things. Bottom line is we've ended up a lap down, which is obviously pretty disappointing. But there's still 5 hours left. So, you know, we're not out yet.
Just to hear the screeching of those tyres now, as Mark was saying, now that it's dry, the 36 car is now unlapping itself from the second place Winkworth car at the moment. Mark's seen something behind our commentary box at the only bit of the circuit that we can't see there. But we've got, just so you can see, Mark, look, the 36 car has just managed to unlap itself from the Winkworth, but not yet Selby ahead of it, but it's now split those front two apart.
Yep, so Scott Parkin going really well at the wheel of the number 36 car.
Here we have another back marker in the wrong place at the wrong time. Smack in the middle of paddock. It's So the 1 to 8 car's got nowhere to go. Scott probably didn't want to hit his brakes mid-apex, and yeah, that could have been really bad, but luckily both cars got away with it.
And the other car that was being headed, or team manager had to go towards race control, was number 72, Misty Racing. I'm afraid the same fate is going to befall the 72 car. Again, it will be a 1-minute penalty for causing avoidable contact.
Wow, so we now have a new leader because the 36 was so busy trying to unlap from the race leader at that point, Selby 128, that it's enabled the 736 car of Winkworth to dive past both of them. That is running in 34th place at the moment, but just starting to slowly work back through the field, yeah, by the looks of it. That is running in 34th place at the moment, but just starting to slowly work back through the field, yeah, by the looks of it.
That is at Paddock Hill Bend, which is surely going to bring about a further safety car. It has got a long way into the gravel trap and has made contact with the barriers. It's surely going to bring about a further safety car.
That car's got no glass at all. That must be the one that rolled over.
Now remember we said there was a story to come about Scott rejoining the track and then the other car spinning out? Well, here it is.
Increasing how many of those we're going to see. We saw earlier, didn't we, the 36 car of Parkin getting involved with that. Incidentally, by the way, that 36 car, Scott Parkin, has had a formal reprimand and 2 points on his licence because rejoined unsafely was the judges downstairs have decreed.
So that was when he ran wide coming out of Druids, retook to the tarmac, and Misty Racing had to spin in avoidance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they've decided no penalty as far as the race is concerned by the looks of it, but certainly because if you go to msvracing.com, you're able to go to this particular event and you've got the bulletin board that will give you, it's got the positions at each of the hours, but it also includes the clerk of the course's decisions, and that was one of them. So the only one that's on there, by the way.
So Scott decided 2 points weren't enough and he was going to try and work to try and get some more points on his licence, as you can see from this action into paddock. Luckily he didn't get stuck in the gravel. I don't know how he didn't get stuck. He managed to get himself out though. And yeah, we were able to continue, but that was very nearly our race over.
So I'm going a bit manic. Scott's spin it or something and he bent a wheel, so we're getting ready for a driver change. I'll see you in the car. Scott's figuring out if he wants to pit or not.
We're not sure what he's doing.
We're not sure what he's doing, but we're ready. But obviously it's a suboptimal pit stop if we do stop. Definitely suboptimal. It means that my stint's going to have to be a good bit longer, but ready, so we'll see what happens. So we asked Scott to extend if he can. He's racing Axia there, look. So car looks alright from the lap times. He might be struggling a bit with it, but from the lap times it looks like it's alright. So we're standing down a little bit, but we're ready. All the crew, look at everyone. Skeleton staff. But yeah, hopefully he can stay out for another, at least half an hour. We're needing to do about another 40 minutes, really. Aha, look who's returned. Hey! Oh, we're about 10 minutes after we just spoke. I think there's going to be another safety car coming out. I need a wee, but I'm not going to be able to go for one. So I don't know how waterproof this is, but could do the piss bag, Craig David. So yeah, it looks like that. Oh no, they've got the car going. They've got it going.
So Lewis Selby still pressing on in the lead of the race. 14 seconds is the advantage that the number 128 car has. Remember, this car that's leading, and quite
so we're at the halfway point of the race now. The team's in position 3 and position 6. 36? Oh, 63, yeah. So that's pretty good. We've still got, I think there's still probably about 40 cars running. We've seen a few cars retire. That car that rolled actually went out again and is still running with no glass in it. There's the team's other car just getting some fuel. A few pit stops going on. But yeah, Scott's still out, but we're right on his window now, so I need to get ready to go. So I'll shortly be seeing you back inside the KA, but no helmet cam this time. Don't want to upset anyone, do we? Thanks to Kevin for lending me the cam box, by the way. It's a cam box, it's French. It's a bit fiddly, it didn't work at the Burkitt so well, but it's worked reasonably well here.
So Scott eventually pitted after 115 laps, so his stint was 15 minutes longer than mine. But but he pitted under green flags. We were waiting for a safety car, but we were starting to run out of fuel, so we had to bring him in. So we ended up pitting under green, which is not the best, but we did a really good pit stop regardless. We had new front tyres on the car, well, apart from one of the impact guns letting the team down slightly, as you'll see on the live stream in a second. But yeah, everything was all good. One thing I didn't realise until later on was that the GoPro wasn't recording. I did manage to get it going again during one of the safety cars, but yeah, it missed a lot of the action, unfortunately. Especially when it started raining. It got really good, but never mind.
Car in the hands of Scott Parkin, and whilst that car had taken up the lead of the race, it is now the number 128 Elliot Mason driven Napa Racing UK car that goes back to the lead of the race at this stage. And who's now up to second, Chris Dawes? Octane Junkies at the wheel of the number 111 car, Martin Smith. That's the car that is on a subtly different strategy, but they are there again, aren't they? And also a lap off the lead of the race in 5th place is number 36 IP Racing, which has now got Daniel Sylvester back behind the wheel. He started the car, if memory serves me correctly.
So when my stint started, I was kind of in no man's land in 5th position, but I quickly went up to 4th after one of the leader cars pitted. But I was able to just get my head down and started pumping in some nice consistent laps. And then the weather changed, which was fun, but we'll get to that.
So we are now at 234 laps completed by our race leading car. So it is now car number 111, Martin Smith and Octane Junkies, the pole sitting car that was leading in the early stages, that leads the way again once more. It's taken them quite some time to get back to the lead, but they are finally there.
36 is still not on the lead lap though, is he, for the 36 car?
No, Elliot Mason, no, Daniel Sylvester, no, still not on the lead lap as yet, no. But he'll keep pushing as hard as he possibly can. 30s and up towards McLaren. Traffic to deal with, which is Carmel Racing, the number 88 car that is circulating down in 26th position at the moment. And straight away, Dominic Jackson now starting to take a differing line. Some of that was because of the back marker. Other parts of the reason he took the differing line now, because all of a sudden they're trying to seek out the grip on the tarmac that's getting wetter and wetter, Chris.
Now the next 20 or so laps were definitely the best that I drove all weekend. The course got really tricky in some areas and I was loving it. I was just going really fast. I was the fastest car out on circuit for quite a while, so I managed to pass number 18 in front of me here to unlap myself, and then started catching them pretty quick. I think I took about 30 seconds out of them in 15 minutes. It was great.
Keeping an eye out just to understand what the story is. There goes number 36. So that, Sylvester, is still on the lead lap. Not by a massive amount, by 10 seconds, because, someone's into the gravel. So, yeah, one of the key things that I was just working out is that IP Racing 36 is still on that lead lap, about 10 seconds further down the road, lapping quite a lot quicker. Now, interestingly, Mark, it's gone back into the 104s, that car, on the last time round.
It did, yeah. Very quick lap put in by Daniel Sylvester.
So the rain hasn't done any long-standing damage, actually, has it, to the adhesions levels out there? And the first one to really test that out and successfully make it work was Sylvester in that IP Racing 36 car, which means that it is it's pulling more away from the Axiometrics car that was sort of 10 seconds further down the road from lapping it, and he's going to try and see if he can reel that car in. Actually, not hugely, because the camera's doing an amazing job. It's a bit too dark up at
Semprini Racing, Napa Racing, and Misty Racing and IP Racing have all had a coming together then. It looks though the number 63 has come off worse, and that's Mark Witherington. The car was running inside the top 10 in the race and was running in 9th position, and he's limping his way back on towards the track.
And one that still struck the 28 car.
That is
a lot of steam from that.
VPEX Racing.
The lead car at the moment is still yet to make a pit stop. The number 18 Axiometrics. The driver of that car at the moment is Dominic Jackson. Second place, and on the lead lap with them is 36 IP Racing Sylvester at the wheel of that car at the moment.
I got the GoPro going just in time to capture this. As you see, I'm coming down the main straight. We're still under a safety car here, and the medical car's going to go out, which is the BMW X5 on my right. Now, I've seen it, but he doesn't think I've seen him, even with his blue flashing lights and everything. So he gives me a toot of his horn to make sure. I think he thought, for whatever reason, I was going to go for the apex then.
Is still the Axiometrics number 18 car of Dominic Jackson leading the way. The one really good thing for Dominic Jackson is that where the second place car, number 36 car, was of Daniel Sylvester, well, he's almost at the tail end of the queue behind the safety car. So at the moment, as they've all gone over the start-finish line, there's actually 20 seconds gap between first and second.
So the commentators are quite correct. I am still 20 seconds behind Axia, but what they're forgetting is half an hour ago I was a full lap behind and then some. So to be just 20 seconds behind the lead. And do you remember how in the first stint I felt quite bad about being 20 seconds off pace? Well, how the turntables.
Lane area. So that now means that we've had 38 laps so far under the safety car. We have done 257 green flag racing laps so far. To the wheel of Purple Sector Racing, but more cars off and into the barriers, and that's a big hit for the number 26 car. That's Wolf Racing that has gone off and has made big contact with the barriers. The Pink Pig is in trouble.
That of course brought out another safety car, and we were right on the window to get Adam in the car to do the final stint, so we took the opportunity to box, and this is for the final time. It just so happened that Axia also chose to pit, so both first and second place were pitting at the same time.
Leaders have come into the pits, 36 IP Racing, because Axiometrics no longer in the lead. They also pitted and done their third change. But a black and orange flag marked for the 128 car, which of course is the Napa Racing. Elliot Mason at the wheel of that 128. They've already had a 2-lap penalty for the refueling penalty. They are running in second as it stands, but they're now...
Just doing Adam's pit stop, I've just stopped.
Go! Go!
Seat forward. Yep. You get the shoulder straps. I'll sort the other crotch strap out.
Mate, it's too fucking tight.
I'll do it. You get the shoulder straps.
So the pit stop went really well, but we got really unlucky towards the end of the pit lane. The red light was on, meaning the safety car was approaching. I saw this affect quite a few other teams as well, so it's fair that it's doing everyone, but it seems like it was a bit trigger happy. The safety car wasn't even at the last corner, I don't think. You can see the safety car still not even at the start finish line, and this is 30 seconds after we saw the red light.
Right, we did that perfectly to get out in front of the safety car, and then there was a red light at pit lane, so even though there was absolutely fucking loads of time for them all to get out. Well, we had to react to Axia then, and got really unlucky with the red light at the end of the pit lane, but our other rivals, another Napa team, they've been given a mechanical flag to got pit, the meatball. But our other car, fully retired, had an accident out there. So, is it? I'm going to have a look at it in a second. But yeah, we played that well, and we should have, well, I don't understand why they were stopping cars. I know why they have the red light when there's a safety car out, you know, but I guess I don't even know where the safety car was, but it weren't here. It weren't on the pit straight. So we're a lap down again with 2 hours left, so it's not happening, is it? I'm in second place to Axia again. Could be worse though, eh? He's got a mechanical problem or something.
And into the gravel, I'm afraid. We've lost one, and it's the number 4 car that is off. That is up at Clearways. So, yeah, safety car now coming out.
After 20 minutes or so, Adam managed to unlap ourselves once again. Because we got held up at the pit exit, we ended up a lap behind. So once again, we had to unlap ourselves, and this is Adam getting it done. So there's still an hour and 55 of the race left.
What became of 63 then? Well, a couple of cars collided on track, and unfortunately she got collected. Right in the side, that, eh? But also at the front. Now the front doesn't look too bad, but the issue was it popped the radiator with the contact, so yeah, no good. Shit that, eh? Never mind, mate. Shit happens, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, it's Ford KAs. They're not exactly the most powerful of things, but they don't half still look quick going through that plunge down the hill and through Graham Hill Bend with the momentum you're talking about. Oh, okay, the 28. Oh, no, it's the Damien Hirst has got, oh, no, the team.
It's Damien's car, and it's Costa that's put it on its side. That is coming out of Clearways corner. You can see a raft of gravel all the way across the track, as well as Costa's gone into the gravel trap and popped it on its side.
Roof, has it?
No, it's sort of plopped on its side. The other side looks totally undamaged. The roof looks undamaged, so I think it's just been one of those. It's been quite a slow roll onto its side.
So we've got an hour and 39 left. Enough to watch an half decent film, that, isn't it? So Adam's out with a minute. We've managed to unlap ourselves. There was a few safety cars. I've just been and got something to eat and all that. In that time, there was 2 safety cars. And in that time, Adam managed to unlap himself and also obviously get on the same lap as the leaders, which is Axia again, the same people that have beaten us both at Alton and at Anglesey. And now Adam's catching them, but he's 30 seconds behind. 30 seconds behind, right? But there's an hour and 30, well, 8 now, isn't it? Over an hour and a half still left, so it's all still to play for. Oh, we've got the gap down to 29.4. Tell him we're not finishing second again.
I can't tell it.
I'm going to go home if that happens.
Are you? Straight home?
Straight home.
You're going to go home anyway, Danny.
Yeah, but I'm going to go home better. Oh, another car in the gravel.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of there, pal.
Look at the quality of that picture. I've got to say, Alpha Live doing an incredible job of the stream. The quality of that picture down there onto the start-finish straight, and that wonder. I just love the sight of the pit lane and the garages all lit up like that.
So there's been another safety car since we last spoke, which has not worked in our favour because although it's kind of smooth running now, so I'm going to stack up again, and that'll put Adam at a slight disadvantage because he's 25 cars behind the lead. So that'll, you know, he was 28 seconds behind the leader, but now he's going to be a little bit more than that. But we've still got an hour and a half left. But yeah, people are struggling. I mean, it was spicy in the wet. Did I mention I was the fastest car out there in the wet? Did I mention that yet? I don't know if the commentators picked up on it, but the pit crew were buzzing. I was buzzing. Good stint. I'm not sure if the GoPro was working for that. I did have to turn it on during my stint, so I don't know how much it's got. But standard GoPro. Yeah.
Every fucking time they keep backing off over the line to try and maybe overtake them.
Can you repeat that?
It doesn't matter, it's okay.
Copy.
Copy.
So back underway. Axiometrics in the lead by 5 1/4 seconds this time round. The 36 car sat there in second. Adam Blair behind the wheel of the IP racing car.
Right, here's Axia. There's Adam. He's not far away. He's not far away. How many cars behind was he? He gained a point, it's now 10. This is all getting very exciting. 5 seconds behind. Fuck.
So the lead advantage now is 3.9 seconds from first to second position. To Druids goes the race leader, and that's problems for somebody, and that's turn 7 that have got problems. So that, I would imagine, will, yep, there we go again, bring about a safety car period, because we can't recover that car in the hours of darkness without a safety car.
So with that safety car, Adam could practically smell the first position car. There's now just one KA between him and the leader.
So Chris Wetherill, who had built up a 2.7 second advantage between himself and Adam Blair in second place, is now going to see that eroded. Yeah, the car that's at the front of the queue is the race leader. The car that's second in the queue is running 6th in the race, so it's not going to be a slow car. And the car that is third in the queue, the Napa racing car, is going to be Adam Blair, who is second in the race overall.
Right, we've got another safety car. I forgot to video, but we're now 1 car behind Axia. Just 1 car. And he can't overtake until the start-finish line, but hopefully when we see him come through here on the next lap, oh, you never know. There's still about an hour left of the race as well, so still all to play for, definitely.
I don't think it will be out for much longer. In fact, confirmation now, safety car will be in at the end of this lap. So for Chris Wetherill, he will want to crack on with it. The car that's behind him, Charlie Budd, will also want to crack on with it because he is inside the top 6 at the moment, and it'd be a handy opportunity for him to get at least one of those laps back with an hour and 2 minutes to go. Adam Blair in third place, absolutely desperate to get on with it. He's almost bump drafting Charlie Budd up towards the start-finish line because we could well have a battle on for first and second here. At the moment, but what the car in third over the line needs to do, the Napa racing car, is put a lap on Charlie Budd at this stage. We say Charlie is a quick driver. He is going to want to try and get a lap back off the race leader, so he's not exactly going to make it easy for Adam Blair to try and squeeze his way through, but I think Adam Blair might just prise the door open here heading up in towards Druids, so he's not exactly going to make it easy. He's going to make it easy. Easy. Is he going to do it? Yes, he is. So we are nose to tail now for the lead of the race. We have had 7 hours and 20 minutes of racing, and now there is nothing to choose between first and second position in this race.
Oh, where is he? Oh, shit! He's right behind him!
Clear race corner. Chris Wetherill doing a good job, not quite taking as tight a line through the first part of the corner as he needed to, which almost opened the door a little bit there for Adam Blair, who is almost pushing him along the straight at this stage. And if you look at who is behind them on the circuit, when they go over the start-finish line. That's Nick Tandy, who is right behind them on circuit. He's got the orange stripes going over the top of his car.
So Adam had caught the lead, but he was struggling to get by. Because they were battling, that allowed the third place car, number 128, to catch up. Although we weren't strictly teammates, we were neighbours in the paddock, and we both had Napa on as cars. That led to a few words being exchanged between the lads on the radios, and Adam moved over to let Tandy through.
Again will come this little trio, all busy squabbling away. To unlap himself, he's got the inside line heading up in towards Druids. He's prized the door open, he's going to go through, but I don't think that Adam Blair can capitalise on that. So Nick Tandy, third place now, at the front of the queue, and he has taken at least one of the 2 laps back that he needs to do, with 53 minutes to go.
So something quite funny happens now. The live stream cuts to an interview with Axia, the team that are in the first position. Just as they do that, Adam is closer than he's ever been.
So whilst the squabbles continue out on circuit, brilliant battling. I think Chris Dawes has managed to catch up with Axiometrics, who are down there, and will be keeping their fingers crossed. What have you got to tell us, Chris?
Well, I've managed to get to the Axiometrics garage down here. Now, interestingly, we're watching the live feed, just marginally delayed from what you're watching up there. But Dom Jackson is down here with me, absolutely glued to it, as you can imagine, with his teammate out there. I mean, Dom, this is just incredible. You're in the lead at the moment, but under so much pressure.
Yeah, I know. It's nail-biting stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it's come down. I mean, it's been right this season. It seems to be us and IP Racing pretty much every race.
Right, Adam's right on Axia. Tandy's got ahead of them both. You can't see that, but I'll put the stream overlay. Oh, he's on him.
He's on him. Go on, Adam. Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing?
We don't need Chris Dawes. Hey, look, we're in lead.
We're in lead?
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking anticlimax.
Half a second as well.
Adam Blair leading the way, chasing around the third place car of Nick Tandy, who, as we say, has managed to get one of the 2 laps back that he needed to do. Nick, together with Lewis Selby and, of course, Elliot Mason, who he's partnered up with, were the winners of the 2019 IndyKA 500 here at Brands Hatch. And whilst the squabbles still continue out on circuit, let's go down to Chris Dawes, who is in the IP Racing garage.
Yeah, well done. We've got the leaders of the race now, the 36, IP Racing. Adam Blair's out there at the moment. But I've got the first driver, Daniel Sylvester. Daniel, I mean, how are you feeling? The car just taken the lead.
Yeah, feeling excellent. Everyone in the team's feeling really good about what's happening. So yeah, I drove first and third. Really good stint when it started getting wet as well on the third stint. On the second stint. Yeah, we felt like we've had a few unlucky decisions. Well, not decisions, sorry, but there's been a few unlucky moments today. So to be in the lead now with 50 minutes left, feeling pretty good, yeah.
Yours was a prime example of something I've been saying on the commentary all day, is that things can go wrong, but you just have to, wash it off, stay cool, and just work your way through, because anything can happen and you could be back up the point here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did have contact with a couple of cars, but they got their redemption on me, so we're all fair now, everything's good. But yeah, I had a really good stint. Adam's absolutely flying out there now, so yeah, really good, excited. 45 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a very quick insight before I throw back, is that we say that this is such a fun thing to be in, and the spirits are great, but when you're at this point, you get a bit more competitive.
Well, absolutely, competitive from the start. I mean, the best thing for me is I've been driving with some legendary drivers today, and Nick Tandy, Patrick Watts, you know, for me that's brilliant, you know, that makes the day, but to be in first place, it makes it a bit better at the same time, eh?
It does, it does. Best of luck. So thank you to Daniel. Mark, back to you.
Thanks again, Chris, and you've managed to do it again, because as we go down there for the interview, all of a sudden the lead changes again. Chris Wetherill has put the car from Axiometrics back into the lead of the race again.
So just as we were doing that, yeah, now we've dropped back. It must be your curse. Commentator's curse. Go back to Axia. Get back to Axia.
All of a sudden the lead changes again. Chris Wetherill has put the car from Axiometrics back into the lead of the race again, or had done briefly as it is. Now it looks as though Adam Blair has managed to sneak back through again, so it was short-lived for Axiometrics, who briefly over the start-finish line had managed to take the lead of the race again. There was just 0.2 of a second between the pair of them, but Adam Blair has just managed to reassert himself back into the lead of the race once more. A good point made by the team there as well. There aren't many places that you can come and race as a novice racer and yet race against drivers that have competed in the British Touring Car Championship, the likes of Patrick Watts, or have raced at Le Mans and won, in the case of Nick Tandy. So 43 minutes of the race still to go, and it is Adam Blair that leads Chris Wetherill. So it's IP Racing versus Axiometrics as they carve their way through the traffic yet again. Carmelian, the number 39 car, is the next of those that they need to try and work their way through and past, and as they do that, looks as though Chris Wetherill this time and Axiometrics have a better run coming over the start-finish line. Are they going to have the momentum as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend? He almost draws himself alongside. The brake lights come on the Axiometrics car slightly earlier than they do on the IP Racing machine, so it is still Adam Blair that hangs on to the lead of the race. That is now 378 laps that have been completed. We are 91% into this race as well.
Right, we've got half an hour left of the race. There's another safety car out. We're still in P1. Obviously safety car will bunch everyone up a little bit, but still in P1. So, you know, all the fingers. Come on, Adam, like, show us what you've got.
Pair still threading their way along the Cooper Straight. Adam Blair leading the way. Still nothing to choose between the leading pair. It's still the best battle that we've got out there for position as well.
Right, we've got 15 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. 15 minutes of this 500-minute race. We're still in P1, there he is. But I tell you what, he can't break that toe with Axia, cannot break the toe. You'll see he's got, you know, a good 5 or 6 car lengths there, but by the end of the pitch straight, they're right back on him again. Alan's having to work super hard, he's gone super quiet on the radio. And with it being 1-2 with Axia again, the team that beat us both at Alton and Anglesey, where we finished second place. Still a lot to play for, obviously, but I can't help but get a little bit excited, eh?
And off, and I'm afraid, oh dear, it's the number 64 car for Autotech Sports, and that's the car that had problems earlier on, did it not, where the radiator went.
We've got a car off Clearways, last corner. I think it's Clearways, maybe. Potential safety car.
No, it is a safety car.
Is a safety car. So that's a safety car with what, 10 minutes left?
For Graham Hill Bend, there is our BMW safety car ready to scoop up the race leader once more.
The safety car's just picked Adam up. There's a car in between Adam and Axia as well. So, yeah, this is potentially working out in our favour. See how long this goes on. Gives Adam a bit of breathing space, of course, but... Ooh. Right, it's 4 minutes left, so they'll get 3 laps maybe. They'll get 4 laps, I guess, because by the time they're gone, yeah, 4 laps, won't it? So I believe they're about to come past. Offside that safety car, that is the safety car. And Adam Oh, Adam's got a gap.
This is where the unfortunate thing with a back marker sat in there is that our race leader, he's gone now, hasn't he? And of course, the frustrated Wetherell's just got to sit there waiting as our race leader disappears off. I'm sure that the Burton Power car is there going, oh, I didn't really want to be in this position. Just being caught napping a little bit as our race leader scampers off into the distance, and it does mean that the gap is going to be quite significant already. Now the 18 car can go.
Yeah, so that's Stephen Gilbert that was behind the wheel of the Burton Power car. He'll have been pedalling as quick.
3 minutes 50 to go. Come on.
Picture or video of them what came off for me.
Was that your back tyre, was it?
That was my front tyre.
One of the front tyres?
Yeah.
No wonder you could feel the wheel wobble.
Yeah, I thought I'd put some really...
Why don't you just keep it onto the track?
The start-finish line. They will be heading on to their final lap of the race. 8 hours and 20 minutes to go over the start. 8 hours and 20 minutes gone over the start-finish line, and they go with just 1.4 seconds remaining. And Mr. Parkin looks rather excited. They're bouncing up and down in the garage.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it? And it is very, very close down to that. What do we get? It's less than a second and a half. But it's still enough for Adam Blair to just keep it metronomic, just keep it going. He doesn't need to blaze a trail now. You just keep it there, because even if the Wetherell car closes, and it's still closing all the way down towards Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight, the pair go, he's certainly getting closer, but it's not going to be quite close enough, surely, as they go towards the left-hander of Surtees for the final time.
Yep, so up towards the left-hander at Surtees for the final time. It looks as though IP Racing have just about done enough. They missed out on pole position by 1/10 of a second, and having started from the outside of the front row of the grid, the pairing of Scott Parkin, Daniel Sylvester and Adam Blair are going to come through to win the 4th ever IndyKar 500 race here at Brands Hatch. It's a win for IP Racing.
Yes! Yes. They've won it.
They come through to grab the win in what is the closest ever finish we've had, just over half a second, 0.590 of a second from Axiometrics, who finish in second place with Chris Wetherell, Dominic Jackson and Chris Duval having done all of the hard work, and Charlie Budd. But IP Racing look very happy there in their garage. You can see they've got the heater on. They're looking rather chilly, to say the least. But there we go, bouncing up and down, looking very pleased with what was a hard fought race from them. And hats off to everybody as well. Hats off to every single competitor that jumped behind the wheel of one of these EnduroKA As. They have provided us some brilliant racing over the course of the last 8 hours and 20 minutes. The results for you, we should just be able to work our way through the results. IP Racing claimed the win by just 0.6 of a second in the end from Axiometrics.
Well, now I'm out here up on the podium, and these are well deserved. The atmosphere back there in the holding room is absolutely electric.
This is what did they call it on F1? The quiet room afterwards. This is what it is though, look. This is the Brands Hatch version. With a 2-pinter, 4-pinter.
So, in third position. You ready, gents? Here we go. In third position, it's the 128 Napa Racing, Elliot Mason, Lewis Selby, Nick Tandy. In second position, it's the number 18 Axiometrics, Chris Wetherell, Dom Jackson and Chris Dovell. Well done, gents. But the victors there for the 2022 version of the IndyKar 500. It's the number 36 IP Racing. Scott Parkin, Adam Blair, Daniel Sylvester. Well done, gents. Up you get, up onto the top step. Few words. Adam, you brought that home at the end there. I mean, what an incredible race.
It was an incredible race. It was probably one of the most stressful drives of my life, I would say. We had to bring it back from a lap down, which was really unfortunate because I thought we could easily have got out in front of the safety car, which would have meant we were in the lead. So but it was a massive challenge.
Mike today, congratulations. You were in there trying to cool, calm and collected, but and telling me off every time I did interviews.
Yeah, I didn't do cool, calm and collected in the car though. I nearly crashed it a couple of times.
At least we'll have some good content off of the camera though, Scott.
And I'm hoping I can delete the footage before anybody gets hold of it as well.
No, you're not going to get that deleted. Everybody wants to know. I mean, Daniel, we did speak to you earlier when it was there, and you were playing it cool, but that was a tense close.
Yeah, it was It was tough at the end of the day. It was exciting. I mean, I've done this 3 times now, 3rd time. Previous twice, come second to these 2. So, you know, it's good to get the win on the last day.
Great race, as always. Off second after 8 hours, 20 minutes. It's not bad, is it? It's all right. We enjoyed that. Oh, no. And in third place, going for it! I can't even see now. Right,
at least it's not off, it's cold.
Yeah. It's Brest. That's you, Ellie. Come
He's drinking it like Joey on Friends. I drink a gallon of milk in a minute and he's like pouring it out.
You know what they say, Adam? Brest is best. So that was it then. We'd won the race. But the fun wasn't over because the officials had one last surprise for us. Jake, what's happening?
They want us to take the cylinder heads off.
No, they don't.
It's not like they've done 8 hours and the red hot and the cats are still glowing.
It's 10 to 7 on a Sunday night, Jake. Top Gear's on soon.
We all like Top Gear.
So what's happening is the Scrutineers or MSV, I don't know what it is, but they want the top 3 cars. They want the mechanics to remove the cylinder head from the vehicles. So basically, everyone's arguing. The teams have said, Axia and the 2 Napa cars have said, nah, we're just going to not do that, and it's all getting a bit sour, to be honest. Not good. But I don't know why MSV do this, because they did something similar at Anglesey as well. They had to pull the engine apart. I don't know. It seems a bit... Doesn't it? Look how mint the car was before as well. Look at the state of it now. It's all you, this, Adam. This is all your last stint.
That's the first stint,
It was manic, that first stint.
Is that you? You realise how dead that sound was?
Oh, some more damage here. You got some more as well?
Yeah, we got the same spot.
Oh, yes. Matching.
I think that was Adam.
What?
I think that was you.
Weren't me.
I'm going to see if it'll come out.
What, can you get through?
You'll be able to get it from the other side and pop it out.
So is the head coming off?
Looks like it, yeah. Jake's going for it. Snips are there for all time, Jake.
Fucking engine's red hot.
Yeah, it's going to do well, this coming off, isn't it?
It's going to be fucked, isn't it, afterwards?
Yep.
Is that the replacement one for you?
Yeah,
They give you a free one afterwards?
As soon as it comes off, it'll warp it straight off.
What the hell is going off, man?
Melted all your...
Yeah, but I'm going to have to wait for some tool stuff here.
Is it a big job, Jake?
It's not a small one. It's a good job we booked an hotel for tonight, isn't it, Jake?
Just an update. Axia have absolutely thrashed us in getting the cylinder head off. But we have only got 1.5 men. There's Jake. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that a disadvantage, like? Fuck, he's just going to batter him. What are you doing now, Jake?
Hello, Danny.
Hello.
I'm currently taking a cat off that's just done an 8-hour race.
Yeah. So be careful, because it might be hot.
I'm very, very pleased with Graham's decision.
Where can I put this without ruining it? Nowhere. Oh yeah, the Nick Tandy car, the other Napa car, they just went, nah, fuck off, and went home. So they've been disqualified, unfortunately. But I think fair one, but we would have all got disqualified, and I think because some of these guys obviously want to keep on doing the Enduro car despite the bit of bullshit that goes with it. You ready for this water pump off, yeah?
No.
Oh God. Look at your nice new jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sponsored 500k getting paid to us.
Oh, nice.
I want one of them. I think I deserve it after getting you first. Danny, you're going to grab us a T40 next then?
Well, you after a T40?
Yeah. T40 and something to drive it with. And tell you what you can do, Danny, get an 8mm on that battery ratchet and undo all them fucking bolts. And
Let's get a water pump off, yeah? That's for you then. Alright.
Is it sequence?
Yeah, that's to stop the head warping. But it's going to warp anyway, because it's still
What about remembering to take it apart?
You took your dipstick off as well. Oh, no, 10 mil.
Fire in the hole.
Whoa!
You alright, Doris?
She's still hot, you know. She's still got some right temperature in it. I mean, I can touch it, but it's still pretty hot. Still steam coming off.
So we passed the test, which was just some measurements with some verniers. Or verniers. Verniers. And then we got to put the cylinder head back on.
Good this side, mate.
I'm gonna lift this up. What are you doing, just resting it on? No, that's my hand.
Hey!
Yeah, that's... Put it rocker cover on as well? No. So do you think that will be...
I will stick it on, just put a couple of bolts in it.
Will that be...
She's took some hammer today. Now the car's dead. It was a fresh build. Now it's dead.
Dead.
Actually dead, innit? Presents. Daring. Handbrake turn. Handbrake. Oh my god. I'll do ya. Good times. Do you remember what this car looked like only yesterday? When it had a cylinder head and everything. Engine ran.
It had an engine that ran and
Yeah.
things in the bodywork.
Pretty much every panel. I mean, let's just start at the front. Reg plate's gone. The little Toyo tyres thing. Door's battered. Door is battered. Look at that. Is it? Can you see how battered the door is? Rear quarter panel. Yeah. Hey, the rear bumper's pretty good. No, is it not? Oh,
This side.
the reg plate's a bit wonky. But, oh, yeah, okay, so the rear bumper's also got a hole at the back of it, which I don't think it's meant to have, but... This door, also, plenty of rubs. And, again, the quarter panel is, yeah, just not clever, that, is it? And the car was immaculate. You saw it yesterday, immaculate. Jesus. Just a couple of stallions. Battered stallions. Alright, we're just about done then from Brands Hatch EnduroKA 500. 500 minute race. Indy 500. Interesting fact, because the second place car ended up getting disqualified for a technical non-compliance, we were the only car to average over 60 mile an hour throughout the 500 minutes, which means we were the only car to actually do 500 miles as per the OG Indy 500. That milk thing, I didn't know about that, mate. They were all drinking milk at the end of it, apparently it's a thing. But we're all tidied up, it's a bit late on, yeah. I've got to drive back up home now, that's going to be fun. Drivers? Good driving?
Good, yours was amazing.
Thanks, mate.
Almost
we all drove pretty well.
Almost as good, but with all the cameras you could get.
Shame Scott damaged car so much, but
yeah.
these things happen.
I had to make up loads of positions because of the shit position you sent me out in.
Yeah.
So you sent me out a lap down.
That was Scott admitting fault to all the damages on the car, and we all heard it on the video, right? But it's been a good day. Been a good couple of days, obviously qualifying yesterday. How good did that car look? He's gone. Car looked really, it did look good, didn't it, when we turned up?
Good car.
It weren't very prepared, but it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Jake, top mechanic as well, obviously.
Thank you.
Got the car prepped. We had at least 10 minutes to spare before qualifying. So, good stuff. And yeah, came home with the victory, so yeah, chuffed. Feels good. So I'm going to get myself home now. Thanks for watching. Thank the Patreons. Without their support, I won't be able to keep doing these racing things. I have to pay a lot of money to do this, you know. It's a lot of money. You believe it? Just racing KAs, you think, oh, it's just racing KAs, is it? Still a lot of money. Yeah, so thanks for everyone's support. And yeah, victory. Feeling good. See you in the next one.